Hey everyone, Wander here, and welcome to Loot Frog. It's an incremental bullet hell, and it's got a dedicated ribbit button, which is all I need to know about it. Okay, start adventure, break pots, fight monsters, get resources, let's go. I think this is going to be a pretty standard, tutorial, this is going to be a pretty standard incremental in terms of, like, break thing, get up to the point where you can kind of move on to the next level, rinse, repeat. I don't mind these, but I've definitely gotten a little bored of them recently. However, turning it a little bit more bullet helly, does actually have some potential charm. And also some challenge, because I think a lot of these I find tend to be a little bit, slow. Okay. Well, we get 3 crystals, let's see how it goes. So, let's see, increase stamina by 17. I mean, I have to, yeah? Okay, increase sword damage by 1, yeah. Movement speed by 12%, sure, I don't have anything better. I like how R is the confirm button. Okay, grab those. And yeah, I do have extra stamina. So the runs are going to go a little bit longer. I do not have a whole lot of health, though. Let's see if we can line these up. Perfect. Yeah, unfortunately, I also don't have much for pickup radius, which limits me here. Oh. He's just going to be harassing me, isn't he? I don't think I'm going to be able to kill him. But I can get the money. Perfect. Well, that's 12. That's a big-ish upgrade on the last. And everything is expensive, so it's not really that huge. Okay. Arrow shoots nearby enemies in range. It's tempting. But I think I'm just going to go for the damage for now. The faster I break pots, the more crystals I get. So yeah, now it's 2 hits to break a pot. Because yeah, I'd like to potentially kill enemies. I'm pretty sure that's how I get gold. I'm just not convinced it's the most worth it. At least not until I've gotten some more upgrades and things. Okay, I don't know if these guys do contact damage. I was hoping to get a little bit more. It's fine. Let's see, movement speed. I don't see anything for magnet range. So dash invulnerable during dash. Arrow, more damage. So we know the pots have 6 health. So this is kind of moot until I can get 2 more levels on it. I guess I'll just grab those 2 for the time being. And see what I can do with it. Ow. I was hoping I could split the difference there a little bit. Let's see. What was I going to say about anything? I don't know. It's first game I'm recording for the day, and it's one of those where, like, I'm always just, like, a little bit zonked. I guess I can kind of talk about this. I don't take a whole lot of days off, but yesterday was one of those where I just had, like, a gnarly headache, so I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of chill. The problem is, when I take too much time off, even, like, a full day off, I kind of end up in this, like, weird fugue state afterwards, where I'm just like, that was nice. And it takes, like, a lot longer than I'd like to get back up to speed. Okay, these guys are really harassing me. But I think I'm going to keep focusing on the pots. Got greedy. Got 20 gems, though. So we can increase arrow damage further. Give me some movement speed. I think let's get the shield. Blocks 1 damage. Okay, and a little bit of pickup range. There's some options there. None of these are specifically helpful, so let's go back to working on damage, because if I can break each pot in 1 hit, that opens things up dramatically. But honestly, that magnet range might actually be one of the bigger upgrades that I can afford. There we go. That, we might also want to try and farm up the 5 gold necessary for dash. If only because the dash is going to give me some extra movement speed. I may also be able to just kill the elite here. You know what? Screw it. He's been a thorn in my side, and he's worth a fair bit. No, my stuff! Okay, that's rude. I guess we do need this. Unlock bombs. To detonate a bomb, touch it. Okay, battle. I think I'm going to stick back to this one. I thought it would have at least given me a little bit of time to collect the stuff from the mid-boss. Okay, so bombs, not amazingly good for what I'm doing, but that's okay. Let's see. Yeah, the idea of taking time off, I don't know, I'm gonna fixate on this topic a little bit. It's weird for me. I think it's one of those where it's like when you monetize a lot of your hobbies, it's a little tricky to like take time off. Then it's more of just like, what do you dedicate your time to? In terms of like work projects and the like. But sometimes it's nice to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna pick a game that I'm never going to record. I still had stamina left, excuse me. Well, alright. Yeah, do we want to give the damage? I don't know. Let's see, decrease bomb cooldown, increase bomb damage. Magnet range, movement speed. I think I'm just going to go for regular damage. Let's go up to this one. 2 per pot, but only 1 coin per enemy. Let's see how tough the pots are. Pretty tough. Arguably worth it, though. And yeah, I don't care too much to be fighting enemies. It's worth it. For the gold. They're tough. Can't do much about it, so we're just gonna go over here. Let's see. Unfortunately, there's just enough going on to distract me from trying to talk about time off. But I'm also not really sure what to say apart from just like, I don't know. Monetizing your hobbies has its kind of downsides, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I think the only thing I would trade is my lack of time to get everything done. Ran out of time. Okay, money's worth it. So do we go for the crit chance? Kind of. I don't know. Let's see. Bomb cooldown and bomb damage is kind of tempting. Magnet range. I feel like magnet range. Yeah, maxing that out is probably a good sign. It feels like there's a lot more pots to break here, too. Maybe. Yeah, I think... trying to think of, like, how to talk about the whole monetizing your hobbies versus not. It's one of those where it's like, you think it's cool you get to do whatever you want every single day. I think this is something game developers probably have to kind of contend with. Whereas, like, once you actually hit the reality of the situation, you realize that what you're doing is kind of, like, sacrificing your love for the thing, somewhat for money. And, like, it's still good. It's, like, a good job, but... there's definitely days where I just like wake up and I'm just like, yeah, if I could just not turn on a microphone and record, that would be lovely. Okay, I'm kind of trapped here. Oh, it's okay, we're out of time. So my solution to a lot of this is to just start diversifying more. Yeah, we grab dash. So dash cooldown by a little bit. I think let's go for the crit and see what I can get. Crit chance, boomerang. Targets the closest enemy. That's got some merits. Otherwise, let's keep exploring these trees. Because these are all pretty cheap. Extra stamina might be worth it. Let's see, bomb cooldown, and bomb radius. I figure the more I know, the easier it'll be to kind of pick and choose. Yeah, the reason why I wanted the dash is honestly not even for combat purposes, just for getting around faster. There we go. But yeah, my current goal is to kind of diversify a little bit in terms of like what I'm doing. I've been able to do that a little bit with like the games that I play. Doing like Wanderbots is a huge mood booster. Even if Wanderbots is not like on par with the main channel yet. I was hoping that would disappear, but that's okay. Because yeah, originally I'd done like Let's Plays on the channel, which was good. But due to like algorithm shifts, it became less and less viable, kind of. And also just I've been doing this for so long that it's like I have a lot of subscribers that, you know, don't watch anymore. And as much money on that one. But we did get a gold for it. Boost my arrow damage? Sure. Invulnerability after taking damage. Arrow range. There's some options there. It's bomb range. Let's go for a little bit of bomb range. Ow. How big does this talent tree get? I guess we probably unlock more talent tree every branch. Go from there. Like the Let's Plays were fun, but I certainly liked them back before YouTube started having everything be like hyper algorithm driven. It was much easier to just like cover what I wanted to and not have to worry about like, you know, what does the algorithm think of this video? You can even see that to this day if you look at like Wanderbots, where I will be, you know, I'll cover like one game and get like 1,000 views per video, and then I'll cover another game and like get 3, 4, 5,000 per video. Like things are so much more weighted than they used to be. Back in the day, it was much more like consistent of like people would find a series that they'd want to watch. But there was still like a reasonable floor to work with. Let's see, arrow range. I don't know if we care about any of that. Do we want bomb? Do we want more sword damage? The problem is the sword damage feels kind of moot until I can start two-shotting things. It's also very expensive. Bomb now explodes on contact with enemies, which actually seems pretty good. And let's reduce our dash cooldown. That'll be decent. Let's see. But so by doing impressions videos and now going back to doing full series, even if like the algorithm isn't the most friendly to it, my mood's been like a lot better. But my goal is to get to the point where I don't have to, I'm not reliant on video games anymore. This is actually something that kind of came up actually with a Loot Frog developer. It was in regards to how, like, developers using generative AI are heavily targeting like the incremental genre. I don't think I've actually talked about this in a video too much. I know I always get people being like, stop talking about AI so much. You know, there's other things in the world to worry about, and it's like, honestly, yes, but it's still, like, pretty high up there, all things considered. But because incremental games are generally pretty short and, like, repetitive, you can get away with a lot more slop packed into these games. Yeah, do we just boost that? Yeah, I think I'm just gonna make my bombs good. Let's see. Because they're short, sweet, kind of don't take a whole lot of dev time, don't cost much, and I hate to say it, but the audience for these games has, I think, a lower standard than, say, somebody buying, like, a big AAA game, which, I mean, makes sense. It's kind of hard to be mad if, like, the $5 incremental game that you picked up only lasts for, like, 3 hours and doesn't have, like, A-tier gameplay or graphics. Though there is something to be said for, like, you know, the incremental games that do actually push the boundaries as opposed to just, like, being more of the same. But so, unfortunately, I think we've kind of primed ourselves. Not really. I think it's just the audience for these games is a prime target for people who cannot make a good game to save their lives and are instead, you know, fully reliant on, you know, slop coding a new clone of Nodebuster, more or less. And so the Loot Frog developers had actually talked about this a little bit. Do we want to just... Yeah, we should get that. That it feels kind of hopeless making one of these games. I should probably actually try and kill the elite at this point. It feels kind of hopeless making a game the right way and then having some slop-coded game, you know, get a bunch of acclaim and, you know, sales and whatnot. And I'm not actually sure how much of an issue that is. I don't actually see a whole lot of successful... oh, here it is. Oy. Ow. Yeah, so I have to watch out for this thing a little bit. Oh, and I did not have my dash yet. I'll work on that. Let's see. Can I get more arrow damage? Could go for the range. Could go for the crit chance. Boomerang cooldown by 0.3 seconds. Boomerang damage. Let's go for the cooldown. Get that up a little bit. I'm sure there's actually like a decent amount of sloppish incremental games that are going by that are actually successful, but I am not seeing them. I'm not seeing anybody talking about them, and like to date, I think I've only covered one game that had that was vibe code and I didn't realize. I'm still pissed about that one. It was the All Hail the Orb, which I'm mad about because they were like, yeah, you know, we didn't use AI. Not, you know, which was a lie because they used it, they just didn't use it for the art, which, like, okay, credit where credit is due, but also, you know, don't lie by omission about the not using AI thing. Oops. I should have used my dash there. It's fine. We get it. And then we magnetize everything, and now we can move on to the next stage. Let's see. What do we want to do? Increase bomb damage? Probably. Because there's also the spike ball. Touch it to keep it bouncing around, but that's going to be tricky. I guess let's get stamina, a little bit of movement speed, and some arrow range. Okay, 3 per pot, but still same amount of gold per enemy. Way more bots, though. Okay, and we definitely are going to need to increase my damage at this point. This is unacceptable. Because, yeah, I've been getting through it because I didn't need it that bad. But now on this stage, that's a little too slow for me. I like the bullet hell elements of this. It feels good. The problem is, I'm terrible at dodging things sometimes. I don't play a whole lot of bullet hells anymore. Okay, arrow range? No. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to keep buffing that up. I guess let's grab this one. What does this do? Increased chance to avoid damage by 2%. Eh. And maybe part of it is like most of the really sloppy looking incremental games that get sent my way look exceptionally bad. That I think it's one of those where once you start using it, you get really sloppy about everything, that it kind of rots your ability to even like perceive art as like anything other than just an asset. And so like a lot of aesthetic taste kind of just fades away. I don't know. But part of my desire to like move away from video games is because I've been spending so much more time, you know, of my week just scrutinizing games, being like, is this trash? Not even from like a, you know, whether or not it's using generative AI, it's just a like, you know, a lot of games are just really not very good. That cheap things made quickly for the sake of making a buck rather than making a good game. Damn, this is getting busy. Well, I mean, it is, in fact, that's a big pot, and I want it, but I can't get it. Not enough stamina. That's a lot of crystals, though. Alright. I'm gonna keep buffing that damage, because I kind of have to. Keep buffing the bomb damage, too. What's this? Dash now does damage to enemies. I'm gonna... Well, I guess we can get it. I don't actually care about dash damage that much. But, I mean, if I got the cash, sure. And, like, not to say that, you know, games back in the day were any better. Like, there's all sorts of cheap, garbage games made to make a quick buck, but most of them were kind of licensed games. You still always had trash, but a lot of them were, like, you know, some kind of Nickelodeon, like, tie-in products. Because they wanted to advertise / like capitalize on something. And like every once in a while you got some like really good games within the licensed, you know, sphere. But a lot of it was junk. Meant to just kind of sucker in grandparents and kids who were like, I love SpongeBob. You know, let's buy the new Spin. Well, actually, I think the SpongeBob games are good. So maybe I'm wrong. There was like a Golden Compass video game that looked particularly garbage back in the day that I can think of off the top of my head. Boost the boomerang. Good chance. But I think a lot of those companies have kind of moved away from hiring developers to make cheap games. I think in a lot of cases because games have gotten so expensive to make, that it's not really worth hiring some kind of like tie-in product for whatever the latest like kids game is or movie or whatever. I think the other issue is just like investors' appetites have changed dramatically in terms of like what they want and what they're willing to fund. So like back in the day, it made perfect sense to invest into the well, maybe that's it. You know, it was easier to try and invent into like a cheap cash grab, but now because, you know, big games have this like prestige element, but also ability to sell for like mega money. What am I doing? Do I want to save up for more sword attack damage? Maybe. Probably get the spike ball. I think I'll boost my arrow damage at the very least. Because I'm gonna need those. Because you should probably kill the elite and go on to the next region. So, I will admit I'm not privy to this, but I'm thinking about like the idea of the licensed tie-in games. I can't believe I'm waxing nostalgic for the era of licensed tie-ins. But those used to be like a guaranteed moneymaker for a lot of developers. But I think that was back before like big investors owned media companies. In the same way that they do now. That like previously the people who were in charge of Nickelodeon were just the people who owned Nickelodeon. And they weren't as beholden to the idea of like, no, you need to make, you know, infinite profits for the next quarter, so on and so forth. Let's see, do we have the elite yet? I don't see him, at the very least. So I think, no, he's on the field. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I don't know if these guys are persistent. I do have enough stamina? I do not. I'm not going to be able to kill the boss here. Ah, damn it. Well, it's fine. Boost the arrow damage. Give me some movement speed. Give me some crit. Now, is crit for everything? It looks like it's for everything. And so there was probably a lot more, you know, will towards investing into, you know, cheap tie-ins and cheap tie-ins, for that reason, which also meant a lot of, like, kind of guaranteed easy labor for smaller studios. Whereas nowadays, because that kind of work opportunity is gone, no one wants to throw money at, you know, Golden Compass, the video game. Developers are kind of being forced to figure out, how do I stay in business? I think that's, I mean, like, always been a question, but you don't have nearly as many avenues as you used to. to answer that question. Oops. Well, I guess let's just go for the movement speed. Get my stamina up. A little bit of crit damage. Is that crit damage or... Yeah, that's crit damage. And so you get a lot more developers that are actively like... Oh, did I... Is this the... I was wondering about this. We accidentally went to the first level. I was like, this is too easy. It seems wrong. There we go. And so you probably have a lot more developers that are aiming for these kind of lowest common denominator things. That's why we had a big rush of, like, bullet heavens for a while. And now incremental games are kind of the thing. But a lot of these are, I don't want to say, like, thoughtless products. Products that are made entirely kind of in a vacuum where only the inciting game exists. Where it's like, Vampire Survivors is the only bullet heaven. Disregard all others. Slay the Spire is the only roguelike deck builder. Disregard all others. And it's kind of made before there's even, like, a semblance of demand for the thing. Or, like, the demand is there, but it's already tapped. Okay, so we've got the boss. Do I think I can beat him in the next couple of seconds? Maybe. I'm certainly not making this easy on myself. No. I almost wonder if I actually have to kill all the other enemies on the screen. Add dash damage by a little bit. Chance to avoid damage. Let's grab both of those. Cheap enough. But I think there's also just a lot of people that recognize that, like, hey, if I can even just make a 1% of the sales that Vampire Survivors got, you know, that's big money. You know, if I can even just get, like, 100 reviews on Steam, my game will have some level of, like, lasting longevity. I wonder if the enemies are finite. Or if I can actually just, like, kill them preemptively. Because I think maybe one of my problems with fighting the boss is that there's too many of these guys on the field. And that's an issue. Because this boss actually is not a huge problem. Apart from the fact that there's just a lot of stuff on the field. Yeah, it seems like there's a finite number of enemies that are spawning. So I can actually kill them all preemptively. There we go. Easy peasy. To make winning a level just a little bit easier. What is this? Shoot an extra enemy in range. Ooh. Were these here? I have no idea. Drop an extra coin when defeating enemies. I think I have to get that one. Because it would be nice to go for the arrows now shoot 2 enemies upgrade, but this will fund getting more of them. Okay. Let's just farm these guys for a little bit, considering it's going to be kind of my main limitation. And also the bombs are actually doing a really good job. Wait, the arrows have homing. Oh, that's rude. It's not very good homing, but it is homing. So that means I can't just ignore them like I have been. It does also mean that it's maybe just worth it to go in and finish off all of the archers if I can. And it seems like there's a finite number of these guys. They might spawn based on how far I've gone on the, pot breaking. Yeah, so if I had more stamina, I could actually painstakingly go through. And wipe all of these guys out. Oh, Duh. What do you mean I have to actually try here? Weird feeling. Okay, spike ball. Pots not drop an extra thing. Chance to spawn a golden pot. They drop extra. Add an extra life. I'm gonna go for the extra arrow for the time being. Max that out. Give me some dash. And then there's like an actual boss that I'm gonna have to potentially contend with. I don't know. I wonder if both of my arrows will target the same unit if I'm really close. No, that wouldn't... I don't think that would work. There we go. Yeah, I should probably be focused on killing the archers more than anything else, as they're the only enemy that can actually aim directly at me. Ow. Oh, we dodged it. Sick. Yeah, like, these kind of Shadow Ninja guys, I think they do attack a little bit at range, or they do aim at me a little bit. My dash was on cooldown? Not sure. Oof. Well, the extra life is probably worth it. I think I'm gonna grab this, though. Making it so everything drops an additional crystal is kind of nice. I'm thinking mostly in terms of, like, whatever region we go to next, having the large quantity of additional crystals. Oops. Yeah, if I spawn too many enemies simultaneously, stuff gets tricky. Okay, so in that case, I kind of need to hunt down the archers as soon as they start spawning, because otherwise they just start sniping me from off camera. I can, like, probably have one or two of them, but more than that is a risk. The other guys aren't as huge of an issue that the shadow... I mean, all of them are going to get in my way. Let's see if I can get more. Nope. Yeah, unfortunately... spawning enemies is entirely based on breaking pots, nothing more. Okay. I gotta be a little tactical with this. There's the elite. I'm gonna break this, though. Okay, we don't do that much damage. I seem to have a decent amount of stamina. Yeah, the problem is I'm not quite within range. Yeah, I can't quite get him with my sword while I'm doing this. Dude's a little rough. Like, I might not have enough stamina for this. He's so tanky. And one of my YouTuber buddies was like, is it just me or are the elites extremely hard to kill? They're not wrong. Okay, we got him. That was down to the wire, though. We definitely need the stamina. Well, I guess let's get this. Spike ball damage, spike ball duration. Okay, defeat boss. 10 per pot, 2 per enemy. Okay. He's gonna kind of... I absolutely hit the dodge, but... I guess not. At least that has a maximum range, so I can just stay away. Looks like stamina is also not part of this equation in the slightest. I'm just gonna back off, outrange it. Yeah, weirdly, this guy actually seems like he might be easier than the previous elite in terms of, like, health. But I think it's mostly just the fact that I don't have anything else to worry about. Yeah, I'm just gonna be back here. Hit him with a spike ball a little. Ow. Okay, got my shield back. In case that was a worry. I've been pretty good at avoiding damage. I got greedy. Okay, where's the edge? Don't walk into something. That would be embarrassing. Okay, perfect. Yeah, you could 100% corner me with that in a way that would make it impossible for me to retort. But he doesn't do a very good job of it. Got him. Perfect. Easy peasy. Okay, so we have new level, which means we have a new talent tree, which has new resources. Oh. Huh, so I can actually keep upgrading my max life a little bit. So that actually means green crystals are worthless to me. Damn. Yeah, just get the blue crystals, I suppose. I'm shocked I haven't gotten hit yet, honestly. I mean, I guess it's marked on the ground, but that's a lot of stuff. Okay, grab the money. Keep exploding the goblins. Got this. I don't think I'm going to be able to grab more. It's fine. We've got some upgrades. Let's see. Well, I guess let's go for the golden pot spawn chance, because those are good. That's good anyway. Go from here. Alright, so how am I feeling about this one? I like it. I mean, I think it's fine. I think it's a pretty standard Buster incremental. I do find the bullet hell elements do actually add like a decent amount of spice as you have to worry about the enemies coming through. I think unfortunately it suffers from the same thing that a lot of other incremental games do, which is to say the talent tree is the same as always. I think this is going to be my, like, consistent bugbear and something that you're probably going to hear me bring up a lot, is that every single one of these Buster-style incremental games every single one of them is a game in two parts. First part is the gameplay, whatever the minigame is that lets you go farm for resources, and the other part is the talent tree, which is how you get your progression. Every single one of them have had the same talent tree. Kind of bar none. Which I find, I think, a little bit disappointing. And it makes sense, like, there's only so much you can do with the talent tree, but, like... Ooh, that's a big boost at the very least. Let's see. Buy the last life upgrade? Sure. There's only so much you can do with a talent tree. Yeah, I know. But it still feels like there's a lot that you can't do with that space if you wanted to get creative. And so... So the spike ball will specifically bounce towards the nearest enemy. Keep that in mind. Like, I don't know, I always bring up the idea of, like, this fear grid from Final Fantasy X, or having more, like, randomized perks that show up as well. That I think those things would add, like, a decent amount of spice. I wish for this game, since it's called Loot Frog, we were actually finding, like, items and equipment. Like, if this was one part standard buster, one part, you know, bullet hell, just break pots, fight enemies, rinse, repeat. And then one part backpack management game. I think that this would have been, like, banger incredible. And, like, if the developers want to effectively take this game and remake it, just adding the inventory management, while keeping literally everything else the same, I think it actually would do quite well. I'd certainly play the heck out of that. Because I think I just need a little bit more spice than what a lot of these games bring. I should probably go back and farm for the green crystals for the stamina. Let's see. Turret. Shoots enemies in range. Charge it by staying within its range. I mean, it's an option. I think I'm going to boost my damage a little bit. Okay, let's go back here and just get enough for the last stamina upgrade. Only need like 140. Which should be easy enough. Because the one problem is we do have a bunch of archers coming through to plink at me. And that does make things a little trickier. Oh well. Because yeah, I like the bullet hell aspect of this. I think that feels very good. I think it's just mostly a... wanting to see the talent tree side of things evolve. And feeling a little disappointed that they haven't. It's kind of like meta progression in Bullet Heavens, that most Bullet Heavens have Vampire Survivors style meta progression, and it feels really bad. Where it's just like, oh, this one increases your, you know, this, that, or the other stat. I guess I should have grabbed... Let's see. I suppose I should have grabbed... Ow. Some other things. Okay. Let's go. I think we'll be able to clear this guy pretty quickly as long as my nose doesn't get too itchy. A little bit of movement speed would have actually made this just a little bit easier. I also want to just break that. Because I don't actually care to win here at this point. We don't need to. It's nice to do so, but we don't need to. Alright, perfect. And that should be more green crystals than I know what to do with. Which means I can finally grab that. Alright, top of the tree is toast. Otherwise, I'm still a huge fan of the idea of, like, a modular talent tree. Like, if, rather than having, like, a fixed talent tree at all, it's just, like, you break a pot. It has a new talent. You slot it into one of your, like, open slots. Or replace one of your pre-existing ones. Congratulations. This one now does, you know, a ton of attack speed. Your frog is a blender. Oh, this one? This talent just makes it so that your sword is now a spear. It stabs things. It's got longer range. You know, this talent changes its targeting, so instead of aiming for pots, it goes for the kill first. Let's see. You know, here's one that reflects projectiles sometimes, or something like that. Like, there's so many different things that you can do. Just depending on, like, how you want to organize this. Okay, so there's the gobbo. Do I have enough time? Not even close. Oh, so his shtick is that his projectiles sit on the screen for a while. That's tricky. Okay, decrease bomb cooldown by a little bit. Yeah. And the radius will be nice. I will say that the progression systems on this, like the feeling of all of my abilities getting better, is quite good. Like, I do feel like this character is constantly improving and getting new fun abilities. Like, the bombs are getting demonstrably, like, stronger over the course of this playthrough. I mean, it's the same thing in every incremental game, but it feels like a lot of them, they'll give you, like, here's the homing missile. It does more damage. And that's it. And then you stop getting upgrades for it because the talent tree just does not account for that, and it seems like this one's got pretty good scalability in that regard. Ow. Oh, so enemies do contact damage. I was not aware that they would. Well, this is a pickle. Oops. Didn't have my dodge yet. It is fine. Bomb radius? Sure. Turret? It is very expensive, but sure. Okay, and there's something here. That's the first time I've ever seen one of these shining. That's not the correct level. So the turret isn't amazingly good at the moment. It shoots at whatever is in its range, and only whatever is within its range. And looks like I have to just regularly swing by to refuel it. On the flip side, it is a consistent source of damage that is independent of me, so I can potentially rely on it to take things out nearby. Okay. Like, I think there's merits for it. I think it's going to be maybe more useful in boss fights. Ow. Because semi-huge plus, I can get it to... I can use it to shoot the elite. I'm not sure if I'm gonna have enough time here, is the issue. These guys are freaking tough. Yeah, no dice. Okay, so why is this shining? Pots drop extra money. I mean, it's good. It's worth it. I guess actually, I should leave those alone rather than breaking them. Because my ballista stays charged for a while. And so I should be elsewhere breaking other things. At the very least. And I should just come back to charge it periodically. Okay. There we go. I like the idea of the spike ball. Okay, this is much earlier, I think. On that ballista showing up. Ow. Not too hot of a situation. We do have a lot of enemies coming through. This is foolish, I know. That is a lot of orb. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to kill the elite quite yet. I'm close. But not quite there. Yeah, I'd like that, but that's 70 money. So, leaving that. Let's see, bomb radius is good. Turret damage by 140 is pretty good. Turret range. Yeah, those are all great. I think I'm going to have to go for the sword attack damage or the stamina. Move speed and boomerang damage. Oh yeah, because that's boomerang damage by 75%. That's decent. Okay, let's just hit that. Yeah, I want to improve my sword damage, but I'm going to have to leave that for a moment. It'd be kind of neat if I could, like, pick up the turret and move it around. Or, like, kick it. Or have the turret specifically shoot my, like, spike ball. Or even combine the two together. This is, once again, why I'm like, I want either randomized or much more, like, unique upgrades that you kind of have to pick between. This current system of having everything just be a scalable stat, it's not bad. But the problem with scalable stats is it doesn't really result in a whole lot of, like, interesting variety. You know, I'm just adding more numbers and more numbers and more things that I can play around with, as opposed to making any of them do anything particularly exciting. And I think what I crave somewhat from, like, a gameplay perspective is, like, being able to do goofy things that might not actually be a good decision from, like, build-wise. Oh, hold up. Damn it. Gold pot. I got it. Okay. Arrow damage, boomerang. Got some options there. Still not enough money for this one. I should probably keep putting points into that. The turret damage is tempting, but we really should get the pots drop more money. There we go. Oh no. Got boners. Ow. But not too bad. Oh, they've got a boomerang. Their bones return home. That's a problem. Kind of? Like, mildly so. I know you're supposed to just keep kicking the, spike ball around, but I'm really bad about that. It always disappears before I get back there. Okay. Just here to grab as much money as I possibly can. There we go. Grab that, grab all the money. I don't think I'm going to be able to kill the elite on this one, but that's okay. I didn't really expect to. That is a persistent boner. Out of stamina. But, I mean, that's fine. We got a decent amount of stuff. So, see, decrease shield recharge time. It's okay. Yeah, what is value? Well, we want to grab that one. I'm thinking we still keep going for the damage. And maybe movement speed so I can avoid stuff. But, for now at least, we can do, like, 1 or 2 more rounds. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely want that shield cooldown reduction. Ow. when we get the chance. I am just absolutely terrible with this. I think the problem is I've been playing this a little too long and I'm starting to get that, like, eyes fuzz out, don't care. Like, don't care exactly what's going on anymore. Fugue? Is it a fugue? I don't know. And I think that's messing with me a smidge. Okay, so bones do not return home if there's no home for the bone to return to. Like, we're getting a decent amount of resources despite the generalized chaos here. Okay. Grab all this. Definitely would like to get some more pickup radius, if possible. Grab all of it. No! There was a bone. It is fine. Now, I'm not seeing any magnet range here, though. Well, let's see what we get turret range. Turret charge duration, so that just makes it last longer. That's kind of good. Bomb damage, bomb range. I think we go for that. The bombs have been really good, actually. I was originally kind of like, on them. I'd played the demo for this, but never actually put out the video because I got like partway through and I'm like, I'm not really into a Buster-style incremental game right now. Today, on the other hand, I'm much more into it. It also really depends on like time of week and day and whatnot. Last week was just inundated with games that I was excited for. This week, I think is Gamescom, and so I don't think there's quite as many games out that I'm like hyper excited for. Because I think a lot of developers are too busy being at Gamescom, you know, showcasing their games and... Let's see. Yeah, showcasing their games and announcing stuff and whatnot to actually be releasing anything. There's always the possibility of a surprise release, but I feel like shadow drops have kind of fallen out of favor. I think it's because, I mean, in a lot of cases, just a lot of developers don't know how to make a shadow drop work. And also, I think you need a certain degree of, like... I don't want to say prestige exactly. You need something, to be able to make a shadow drop work. And I don't think most developers have that anymore. Bomb radius? Let's go for the bomb radius. Like, I think it works if you're a legendary developer that people know about, but I will say with, like, all of the excessive amounts of layoffs going on right now, there aren't a whole lot of legendary developers left where that kind of prestige works. Like, too many people have been, exiled from the games industry. Oh, damn it. And too many studios have been, like, bought out and turned into, well, just kind of ripped to shreds, for parts and for, you know, their IP. And so it's kind of one of those where it's like, is the studio that, you know, we grew up with that, like, made those legendary games, does that studio even exist? You know, how much can you ship a Theseus, a game development studio, before it becomes not that studio anymore? I remember that was like one of the things people were contending with a little bit when was it Mass Effect Andromeda came out, that a lot of people were mad about it. Some for entirely unjustifiable reasons, like some people it was just pure culture war shit. Other people were pointing out that like their lead, it was like one of their lead 3D artists was like new, like hadn't worked on a whole lot of games before or anything like that. And it's like, yeah, kind of go figure that game was a bit of a mess. They fired everybody that knew what to do. Which, I mean, is very much, if we want to go back to the whole conversation about, like, investor class just ripping games apart and leaving nothing left. That's it. You boost the arrow damage, arrows now shoot an additional enemy in range, which actually is really good. I do want the turret damage, but let's go for that one. Decrease arrow cooldown. Yeah, just max that out. Go for that. Because yeah, having the bow and arrow shoot that much more often is actually going to be huge. Okay, well, at this point I think this is a good stopping point, at least for now. The more I play this, the more I get positive about it. The enemies get more complex and interesting to have to deal with, but the player scalability, like, you can feel it in a good way. It's not just that your damage is going up, though it is mostly just damage, attack speed, and AoE size. There's a nice feeling of like, no, this upgrade actually did make a huge difference. I think I just wish maybe some of those talents that you spent money on had an A or B option, or something, or if there was like more stuff, or like randomized little artifacts that you would find that you could equip and each does something different. I don't know, there's a lot that could be done with this formula. I don't think it's, wow. I don't think its current incarnation is strictly bad. I think it's just one of those where it's like been done before, and I think that holds it back. There's the magnet radius, that'd be helpful. Let's see. But anyway, for now at least, I might as well mention that Loot Frog is available now on Steam if you want to pick it up and play it yourselves. Just follow the link in the description below. I think it's like $5. It's like, okay, it's $7 down to $5.85 for launch, which is a fair price for what it is. I don't think it's going to last you more than like a couple hours, but I mean, that's fine. It's interesting, the boss enemies in this seem very clearly inspired by Cults of the Lamb, which I'm curious about if there's like an intentionality on that one, or if it was just like, nope, kind of weird culty monsters are just a fun vibe. I don't know. Anyway, I guess with all that said, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like, it helps more than you know, and if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, I'll see you next time. I love that there's a ribbit button. I kind of wish there was a ribbit button in-game. Or maybe there wasn't, I missed it, they moved it. At the very least. I don't know, it doesn't actually give me control options.